All right, so here we are, super high roller bowl. You know, we're doing really well. We got a good stack of chips, but like I said, we're not going to veer from, for the most part, the strategy that we decided we were going to employ, which was predominantly going to be a limp strategy, especially from early position. I was going to do some raising as well from all the positions, but are also going to have some limps. How I balance that ain't none of y'all business. How about that? Okay? Ain't none of y'all's business. Now, in this hand, we're going to look at one where limping doesn't always go well. You know, there are going to be some spots where, as a result of limping, it costs you. In one case, that could be as simple as, you know, you limped with queens and the big blind had 9-3 offsuit and the flop comes 3-3-5, and you're probably going to lose some chips on this spot, right? Whereas if you just raised coming in, the guy would have folded. Right. But bigger picture, we're looking to create a dynamic too that my wife will kill me if I tell you this. Yep. I was just about to tell you. She would have been like, "Frickin' Christian, edit that out. He can't give away all of his damn secrets. I'll give you most of them, but I can't give you all of them." All right, back to the hand here. So, as I said in the previous videos, if you've been watching the Super High Rollerball series, you're going to have to limp under the gun if you're going to limp with, like, not just your mediocre marginal hands hoping to catch a flop, but also some of your strong hands. Tens falls upper middle, right? So tens isn't like a premium, but it's pretty darn strong, especially when you're playing, you know, whatever it is, seven-handed, right?
You know, it's on, so to speak.
Yeah, he can kind of turn it on and off, like in between hands, no problem. You know,
I feel like they shouldn't have brought Daniel.
Have a little chat, whatever it is.
We've had
affable,
more space.
but once you get after my blind, pal.
That's right. Tens here for Negreanu. Goes for call. Note Negreanu employing the limping
because I'm next
strategy.
to this man and
most other players aren't. Fair
asked
enough.
him to move
See
his
how that
knee.
shakes out. Ace 10 suited for Winter here on the button.
Yeah, he'll be employing
like folded inside of it.
that suited ace and the button together to enter this pot. TBD whether or not he'd like to raise it up and maybe show the blinds the exit. And upstairs we go. 12,500 as he seeks a table for two.
I would love to. I just have nowhere to put my legs.
So keep your legs there, move your body there.
Yeah,
Put
your legs there, body there.
Should I just like look backwards while I'm playing,
Yes.
or what? I mean,
Cuspy here for Addamo.
Based on this exchange between Daniel and
it's-
Winter,
how is this perfect?
Sean doesn't strike me as a candidate to be a winning twister player.
10 seconds.
Body here, legs there. There was some struggle.
He is out.
What
Winter,
did he say? 12 what?
Winter, very funny. Very funny character out there. Quite dry.
Make it an even 30.
What 30?
The pot.
Oh, I don't know. You're way ahead of me. But when I'm limping tens, I'm not limping with the intention of like folding. So essentially what it does is it allows for one of two things. So if you open with tens, right? Say you open to 2.5x, somebody 3-bets you. That 3-bet at this depth might be something like 9x, right? So now you're putting in 9 big blinds to see this flop out of position against the 3-betting range. It's going to be pretty strong. And you're going to see a lot of flops that don't play well for tens. An overcard is likely to come, right? At least one. Tens are not deuces in that, like, you know, you got to flop a fit or fold, flop a set or go home. But they're also not that great against the 3-betting range when you're out of position because, again, most of the flops are not going to be good for you. And some of the flops will be dangerous too, even when it comes 8-5-3. It's going to put you in a lot of tricky situations anyway because your opponent may have an overpair, right? It's very, very possible. You're going to have to make some tough decisions. So by limping, what that allows for typically is when you limp, players that do choose to raise will raise to about 4 to 4.5x, typically. That's what you typically see. Sean Winter's a different breed. Sean Winter's like, nah, bro, I'm doing my thing. So Sean Winter from the button decides to make it 12-5, which is a little over 6x, okay, over my limp. And he's got the ace 10, right? So he's trying to, like, you know, isolate the weak limper guy, you know, which is fine, you know. And as I said, it's the hands play differently. You have to think about them differently and understand that sometimes you're going to get bluffed in spots. So with the two tens, the question is, why didn't you back raise, Daniel? I just called to see this one. Why didn't you back raise with the tens? You certainly can if you want to. Not exactly conducive to what I'm trying to accomplish here. In creating like a limp raising range all that much. I will have one, but 10's probably not in it. You know, my limp raising range is going to be the aces, the kings, the ace kings, and also some other funky hands thrown in there for balance sake. Maybe an ace 4 suited, an ace 3 suited, maybe even, depending on the stack depth, something like 7-8 suited or something like that, or 8-9. Well, not 8-9 as much because 8-9 could get you into some other problems. But you get what I'm saying. So I decided to just call, take a flop with the 10s. Once again, check to my friend.
Well, Addamo had the bigger ace, so Winter certainly did well for himself in terms of his choice to raise from the button. However, the flop has not done well by him.
Well shot, Ali.
And the flop comes Queen 5-3 rainbow. And I checked in the dark. What the hell are you doing, Daniel? You don't even want to see the flop? There are going to be some spots in poker where you already know you're checking. Like, you're not going to be leading. So when I call a 3-bet, now I'm out of position under the gun, what flop would I bet? I'm not going to bet a 3-6-7 flop, 4-5-6. I'm not betting any flop. So checking in the dark, people are like, I'm not giving away anything. All I'm giving away is the fact that in this situation, I don't have a leading range. Okay? That's it. So it's fine. Check in the dark, save time. You don't have to sit there for 30 seconds and go, check. Like that. You don't have to be a goofball. Just check in the dark if you want. It's fine. It gives up nothing. It just speeds up the freaking game. Stop wasting time. Put the, in a sense, actually partly why I like to check in the dark too is because players need time to think of what they're doing, right? So what they'll do is in position, they'll take the time that I use. So if I take the 30 seconds, he's also thinking for 30 seconds. Now I check, it's his turn. He gets 30 seconds more. Remember, I'm playing shot clock tournaments. So I've just given this guy like a full minute to think about the situation. Well, when I check in the dark, boom, it's on you, bud. Let's freaking go. You got 30 seconds, time or use a time extension, right? So I like that. So I like that in certain spots, I can play quickly, takes away time from my opponent. Because if I already know what I'm doing and I'm not really worried about timing tells in these spots, as in this case, it makes no difference. Why give this guy an extra 30 seconds while you're thinking to also be thinking? Check instantly. Boom. Bang. Put the action, put the onus, put the pressure on him because time pressure is real, right? The more time pressure you put on your opponents, the better it is for you. So when you think like you're balancing and whatever by wasting time and stuff, you're just giving the guy extra time to think when you don't have a decision, right? So it doesn't even benefit you. It actually hurts you. All right. So I check dark and he decides to check back on this Queen 5-3 flop. And I think he's going to mix here. Sometimes he's going to bet his ace-10. Sometimes he's going to check. When he checks here, I certainly think he can have a queen. He can have better. Sean's a tricky player. He can also have hands like jacks and 10s as well. 9s, 8s, potentially. Actually, probably 7s and 8s he's probably going to bet more often just to protect because, to deny equity against hands like 10-jack suited and things like that. But anyway, there's certainly enough good hands he's going to check here, and sometimes he's just going to give up, because I did call the raise pre-flop.
He elects to check back the texture, and Binky, ace of spades on the turn. As he hits his side card, highly improbable that Sean would take the lead. But improbabilities are something Daniel has already been very familiarized with here in the early goings. As he hit the running quads against Sensei Bryn Kenny, who was dispatched. Now Daniel checking again in this 30K pot.
Now, the turn card is the ace of spades. Now, that's not the card I really wanted to see, is it? There's 30,000 in the pot. I check, and Sean bets 15,000. So, when he bets 15,000 here, ask yourself the question, what is Sean's range here? The 3 bets, checks back, and bets turn, okay? Very ace heavy, right? A lot of it's ace something. It's probably not queen anymore, because he probably just checks the queen again, right? Because the ace, if he has a queen and he was trapping, now he doesn't like the ace either, because that's a big part of my range as well. So when he bets, it's one of two things. It's an ace, right? Or it's air, right? It's like an 8-9 suited type hand. It's probably not a hand that has equity. He's probably not doing it with jacks, right? He's probably not doing it with the other 2 10s. He's probably checking back those hands. Not always. Sometimes he'll go ahead and bet, but those are probably hands that he would check back. He's also going to check back some ace X on the turn too sometimes for balance and to be tricky. But overall, you have to ask yourself, all right, I mean, he could also have like 5-6 suited too, That makes a lot of sense. The issue is this. When that ace comes, anytime he checked back air on the flop, like if he was just stone air on the flop, that ace is a 100% bet. He's going to bet that ace. And I know this, right? So I see that ace. I know it's the ultimate scare card, and it's the one that, he's going to use with all of his junk. The question is he delaying his bets with junk on the flop often enough? And I thought not. I thought, like, if he did have 8-9 suited, he would bet this flop. 7-8 suited, all that stuff. Any of his junk hands, like 10-jack, king-jack, I thought he would bet this flop to try to take control of the hand and push me out of it. So the fact that he checked and then bet turn, I have to ask myself, what is his bluff range constructed of? And it's not a lot of stuff, right? It's the 5-6 suiteds, right? Which is like, all right, well, that's actually probably like one of the best ones. The ace-5, no, not ace-5. But for his bluffs, it's probably like 5-6 suited who might check back the flop some of the time and whatnot.
$15,000, just half pot, being laid 3-1. The queen and the ace, just such troublesome cards to be looking up at if we are Negreanu.
Fold.
Yeah.
Good
Just
bluff,
choose.
Sean.
Isn't that not binding all in?
This is that's all in now? This is the all in side? This is it?
You saved yourself with the verbal.
Oh, because I said fold?
Yeah.
Otherwise it was in? I do that?
According to Sean.
Which one came
Sean.
first?
Four-man
I
Sean.
feel like this one came first.
You don't even want me to go all in. You had nothing. I had the best hand. I folded because you're a nice kid.
Trip aces.
Well, then you got screwed really bad. You were very unlucky if you had trip aces. That was a really bad card for you if you had trip aces. But I don't believe it.
But overall, felt like ace is a big part of it, so we're going to fold. And again, I was aware that when I folded here that I'm going to get bluffed some of the time, and that's okay. One of the things you're going to have to understand too, especially when you play tournament poker, is sometimes in marginal spots where you don't really have like a lot of leverage, there's not a great thing that can happen for you on the river. Sometimes you're better off just getting out of the hand earlier. Obviously, you might be giving up some EV in some spots by overfolding there a little bit, but that's probably going to be worth it in the long run because it helps you avoid being in really tough river spots where you don't know what to do. Like, so if let's say I did call the turn with those 10s, what now? Like, what do I hope happens? I'm never going to bet the river, right? I'm never going to lead. I don't have aces. I don't probably have ace. I don't have that strong a hand. Maybe I have an ace. I check and he bets, and what now? I guess just fold. So if I'm going to do that anyway, just fold the turn. Anyways, so we got a lot of hands to talk about. A lot of them are going to be limps. A lot of funky stuff. But as I said, this strategy was specifically designed for these type of opponents who think at a very high level, who I felt like would not be accustomed to defending or being accustomed just in general, like feeling comfortable against what I was doing. And guess what? If they're uncomfortable, and I've been doing it for 30 years, advantage me. Guys, if you want to watch the entirety of this Super High Roller Bowl and a whole bunch more high-level play, you got to get yourself a Poker Go subscription. Most of the stuff you can only find on Poker Go. And I'm going to tell you what, as a study tool, nothing better.